Additional resource for all the support we provide to our student ventures now and beyond. All of our teams have had a lot of help along the way. So I'd like to thank our multiple judge panels, our team coaches, Business and Entrepreneur Partnerships, Entrepreneurs in Residence, Launchpad Venture Coaches, and our volunteer experts. Together, the Business and Entrepreneur Partnerships, the School of Management, and Blackstone, Launchpad, and Techstars are pleased to bring you today's event. The teams you'll see today are represented by the School of Management, the Jacobs School of Medicine and Biomedical Sciences, the School of Public Health and Health Professions, the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences. It's amazing to see such diversity in academic programs from our student ventures, as we know that entrepreneurs come from all fields of life. Now, I'd like to invite Dean Paul Teslick from the School of Management to provide some remarks.
Thank you, Dave. It's great to be with everyone, and welcome to the 20th annual Panasci Technology Entrepreneurship Competition. So this is great. We aren't going to let a pandemic kind of stand in the way. That isn't kind of what entrepreneurs do. They always find solutions to pressing problems. And this year with the Panasci competition is certainly no different. And it's great to be able to see the outstanding turnout and interest in this year's competition. I just would like to first, before saying a few quick words, offer thanks also on behalf of the School of Management to the many involved who have made the Panasci competition successful, not only this year, but throughout its 20-year history. And that starts, of course, with the vision of the Panasci family and their investment in student entrepreneurship. And I believe, as we do almost every year, I believe we have members of the Panasci family. I believe David Panasci is here with us this evening. So if we can give him a big shout out into the Panasci family for making this possible, thank you so much. Thanks also for the student entrepreneurs. My understanding is that we had 30 teams at the onset competing in the Panasci competition. That then was reduced down to 11 semifinalists. And as Dave was just mentioning, we have 5 outstanding teams in the finalist category that you get the opportunity to be able to hear from directly today. And it's an outstanding set of entrepreneurial ideas and really cutting edge innovations that you'll get to be able to see this afternoon, which is really exciting. Thanks also to the judges and to the coaches, to the entrepreneurs in residence, and the expertise that's offered by Business and Entrepreneur Partnerships, and also through Blackstone, Launchpad, and Techstars for mentoring and supporting these outstanding set of student entrepreneurs through their challenging but exciting set of journeys. And you'll again get to see some of that here today. And I think one of the hallmarks of successful entrepreneurship is partnership and collaboration. And that really goes back to the collaboration between Business and Entrepreneur Partnerships, Blackstone, Launchpad, and Techstars, and the amazing team. Kudos to Hadar and Dave and the rest of the team. Many of you know that Alex Pelk was kind of a force behind the scenes for Panasci for many recent years. And while she recently left UB to be able to go to Tesla, and so speaking of the kind of the power of entrepreneurship, we miss her, but we also want to give her recognition for all the great work that she did in supporting the Panasci competition for such a long period of time. Entrepreneurship, I think, as we all know, is a driving force for innovation. It's a driving force for new job growth creation and for economic development and prosperity. And I think the Panasci competition really embodies the power of that, particularly because it's focused on student entrepreneurs. And as we see, we're kind of in a period now where we're seeing record interest of students around understanding and getting immersed in entrepreneurship and developing entrepreneurial thinking. whether to lead their own new startup or to be able to bring that thinking into an established company or corporation. That type of thinking, that type of mindset is, I think we would all agree, necessary now more than ever before. And especially as we emerge from this pandemic and we come behind a set of important societal and social challenges that we face, entrepreneurship is going to be critical for being able to lead us forward. And again, to me at least, and I'm sure you would agree, that that's really what the Panasci competition really symbolizes. So I hope everyone is excited for a great afternoon of hearing some really interesting pitches. And without further ado, I'll turn it over to Rick.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. So my name's Rick Gardner. I'm the Director of Startup Ventures at Business and Entrepreneur Partnerships at UB. So in that role, my team and I lead the efforts to support faculty and student startups to bring their ideas to market and have an impact on our community. I've been here for about a year, so this is my first chance to be part of the Panasci competition, and I'm really excited to be here. In my time here, I've been really impressed with our students. You know, they're the future of our entrepreneurs, and they're going to be the source of economic growth and bringing some of today's most challenging problems to market. So I'd like to thank all the mentors and coaches who've helped these teams through their ongoing development and get them ready for the competition that you're going to see today. You know, at UB, we continue to expand our entrepreneurial resources for our students and our faculty and entrepreneurs in Western New York through all different stages of their evolution. You know, they'll find ongoing support in the form of access to experts, areas of legal, accounting, and finance, and also growth coaching. And we've also got investment opportunities to help them get to the next level of development. We have a place where they can locate and be with other entrepreneurs in our incubator downtown called CBLS, which just opened with a new renovation. And then we've got the incubator at Baird. So Buffalo's building a strong startup community, and it's becoming a place where entrepreneurs can grow their ideas. And I'm really happy to be part of this community, and good luck to all the student teams today.
Thank you, Rick. Thanks so much. Now, I'd like to introduce today's esteemed judge panel. When I call your name, if you could give a wave to our virtual audience, we'll do our best to quickly spotlight you. All right. First up is David Drew, software engineer of the Blackstone Group. Welcome, David. All right. Next up, Susie Kim, co-founder of Electric Potential. Next up, Dr. Carlos Peña, newly appointed Chief Regulatory Officer of the Jacobs Institute. Terry Rice, Business Development Consultant of Terry Rice Coaching and Consulting. Hey, all right, there we go. Lindsay Karras Stencil, partner of Thompson Hine LLP and co-founder of the W Fund. And finally, Patrick Judge, managing partner of Camber Road Partners. Would you all please join me in welcoming our judges via virtual applause? All right, thank you. We'll now stop sharing the screen, and all but our first team will be moved to breakout rooms until it's their turn to present. Teams, you know, you'll have 5 minutes to pitch, and then our panel will have 5 minutes to ask questions. Before the presentations begin, I'll remind everyone joining us today to please make sure you're on mute for the duration of the call, and to please feel free to celebrate our teams using virtual applause and thumbs up. All right, I think we're doing a little bit of the magic of virtual theater right now and moving people into the right spots. There we go. All right. Our first team today is going to be Rhm Innovations Inc. With that, are you sharing your screen?
can't.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I got moved to a breakout room and got stuck in there for a second.
No worries. No worries.
Courtney, you should be able to share your screen now.
Awesome. Cool. One second.
Yeah, no worries.
So I missed whatever you said in the last like 2 minutes because I was in a breakout room.
Yeah.
Was
You're
there
gonna
anything that I needed to hear?
I think you probably know this already, but I'll repeat it anyway. You've got 5 minutes to pitch, and then our panel of judges will have 5 minutes to ask questions. So when you're ready, let us know.
Brandon, are you ready? All right, I'm ready.
All right. Ready, set,
Dave, hold on one sec.
pitch. Oh.
Courtney, just one moment, please. Thank you. Sorry for that.
No worries. Thanks for your patience, everybody. I think we're just getting all the people to the right places.
Are we not allowed to see everyone else present?
I believe, based on my understanding of the script for today, that it is true. You should be in the quote unquote green room or the breakout room right now
Aw.
if you are not presenting.
I think we're ready to start.
All right. I'm glad to hear that, aren't you? All right. Then I would like to welcome Rhm Innovations Inc. to the stage. Are you ready, CJ?
Yes.
All right. Ready, set, pitch.
Hello, my name is Courtney Burris, and I'm here with my partner, Brandon Davis, and we are the co-founders of Rhm Innovations Inc. And we're here to present to you our first product, the aiding arm, for when you need a helping hand in no man's land, AKA the bathroom. The inspiration behind this product is my dad, Robert. Last May, he died after a battle with colon cancer. Prior to his passing, he lost his ability to bathe himself. Losing his independence was so difficult for him that he outright refused to bathe for nearly 2 weeks. The nurses said if he didn't bathe, he would be at risk for infection. To make him feel more comfortable, I stepped in to help. It was incredibly difficult to see my dad in such a vulnerable and uncomfortable situation. Unfortunately, this problem is not unique to my dad. Bathing is a major challenge for the ill and the elderly. In fact, nearly 250,000 people are injured in the bathroom each year, most of whom are injured while bathing. Yet there is nothing on the market which ensures safety and comfort while bathing. The options are either sponge bathing, which is uncomfortable, cold, and degrading, or a stationary clip, which requires its users to move their arms above their head, which most ill and elderly people are unable to do, making this a non-starter. So we created something better. This is the aiding arm. It is a clip-on shower chair attachment with a lever system, which moves a removable shower head along a track, front to back and side to side, enabling independence while bathing. Here's how it works. So there are supportive legs which come down to support and balance the person to ensure safety, and it clips onto the seat to fit a variety of chairs. And the levers can switch from the left to the right side to accommodate all people. We have 4 main customer segments, but our go-to-market strategy focuses on elder care facilities. We have made connections with 3 facilities within Erie County, and including the Heritage Centers, which we will conduct beta testing at. Use an indirect distribution strategy where we will sell our product to durable medical equipment distributors who will in turn sell and market the product to customers. This is our profit and loss statement for the first 3 years. Our total income starts at $100,000 and increases to $2 million. Our gross margin starts at 32% and increases to 55%. Our net income is at 3.9% and increases to 13.7%, which will allow us to use this profitable business model to expand our company into the national market. At the national level, our addressable market is 10 million people, and this represents people who receive aging-related care. Our reachable market is 20% of that, or 2 million. And this calculation is based upon the number of shower rooms at elder care facilities that we think we can reasonably reach. In our national launch, these are our 6-year sales projections starting in 2025. In our peak year, we project that we will be able to sell 700,000 units, generating $140 million in sales. And that's only 7% of the addressable market. We are laying the foundation for a successful business. Our first prototype is being assembled as we speak, and we have taken the steps to protect the design with a provisional patent. Concurrently, we are working with a market research expert to launch our first marketing campaign in Erie County. Once we're able to validate our product, we will expand our sales force into the national market. We have put together an advisory board which consists of business, legal, and aging specialists, many of whom have decades worth of experience. Once our company begins to expand, Brendan and I will take a step back into R&D roles, and we will fill the leadership positions with people who have experience in this industry to ensure the success of our business. We have raised $7,000 in capital, and much of that has been invested into our physical product. We've also conducted 96 customer discovery interviews, and our biggest takeaway is in the HCVS rule. If we win today, we will use the cash prize to fund our manufacturing design and prototypes, which will allow us to validate our product through beta testing and pursue Series A funding. We have a fully designed product ready for customer testing that is unique and patent protected. We will be the first to market, which will allow us to be a market leader. This is an incredible investment opportunity based on the size of the market and our highly profitable business model. Invest in us today so we can help your loved ones tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, CJ. All right, judges, who would like to start our question?
I'll start. This is Lindsay. Hi there. First and foremost, I'm really sorry to hear about the loss of your dad. So my heart goes out to you and your family. But I would also say in a beautiful way, he's given you a gift, right? He's given you a gift to create this and help possibly millions of people. The couple things that I have questions on really are there two. One, what does the competition look like for similar things? Because status quo of doing nothing is still competition. Mm-hmm. And then two, do your projections take into account insurance? Because, if someone falls out of the chair or something, we've got to figure out how that gets covered. And is that covered by nursing home, or is that covered by you as product producer? So I will go on mute and I'll listen to your answers.
Okay. So I'll take the first question. So Brandon, can you repeat yourself, please? So the competition that exists is just the standard sponge bathing or something like a stationary clip. Nothing that actually helps people in the middle range of care who have some independence, but not enough to be able to stand while they shower. There's nothing on the market. So the only competition would be thinking that there is nothing that can be done, which is competition, because that's what I thought before I came up with this idea.
So in addressing the second question, unmute yourself. So in addressing the second question.
Sorry.
In addressing the second question, so the institutions that would be purchasing these and implementing them would be responsible for insurance. It's designed in order to reduce the falls and offer a safer alternative to the current state-of-the-art intervention. So there isn't much competition, and it will ultimately be a safer alternative to what's available, allowing independence for the users. But the institution will be responsible for the insurance. However, what's also interesting is that this could be covered by insurance on medical discharge lists as it grows in brand recognition and people understand how it can help.
All right, who else has a question?
I'll go next. Two questions real quick. First off, how did you decide on the $200 pricing in general? And secondly, in terms of like the actual construction, all that kind of stuff, how are you kind of deciding, you know, as you think about that price, what is the trade-off between, you know, the usability, the quality, and how long you think it's going to last, and kind of how are you trying to make those types of decisions as you come up with your prototype and your original pricing strategy?
So we came up with a $300 customer acquisition price based on the customer discovery interviews that we did. That was the average price that people would be willing to pay, though many were willing to pay more. And the wholesale price at $200 to ensure that we have a comfortable gross margin, but also that distributors can still make profit off of it. Can you please remind me of the second question?
Just when you're thinking about like the materials design for this and you're
Yes.
trying to figure out, you know, you want this thing to last some amount of years that's being hit with water and people sitting and moving it all the day. How do you kind of decide between the quality of the materials and the product you make as opposed to keeping the price where you want it to be?
So we have partnered with two design experts, Dan Buckmaster and Zach Carey, and they're helping us with our design. We are choosing products which will hold up when they're exposed to water. And we're looking at lightweight products like plastics and aluminum. So that'll save some money as far as the materials go. And what we found from our pricing is that when we produce in high quantities, we'll be able to manufacture this really cheaply, especially because we're focusing on some already prefabricated pieces.
And to comment on durability of it, so the materials that we're also sourcing are going to ensure durability of the product, so it'll last a while. Namely the backtrack, and moving it along, we're using low friction wheels and on the track. So not only does it last a while, but it's really easy and low friction for an elderly, frail, or injured person to be able to use. So not only like our go-to-market strategy is sort of penetrating the elderly market, but this could be used by anybody that has limited mobility, whether it's somebody that suffers from, you know, weight-related issues, or an injury, or so like disabled veterans, or people who are injured in other ways. So the market is larger than, our overall market is larger than what we had just talked about, but for interest of time, that's what we discussed today.
All right, thanks so much, RHM Innovations. Thank you, CJ. Thank you, Brandon. Great job. I'll give our judges just a moment to make any notes and submit their rubrics while Limitless Medical Technologies prepares to join the meeting again.
David, can I go ahead and share my screen?
Oh, I would just love that. Thank you so much, Andrea. That would be great. Let me know when you're ready. And judges, let me know when you're ready too.
I'm ready whenever everybody else is.
All right. We'll give it a moment. I took a look at the form this morning. It is not a short form. So I appreciate your patience. Are there any judges who are not ready to proceed? All right then. I'm going to say, Andrea, are you ready? Okay, here we go. Ready, set, pitch.
Hi there, my name is Andrea, and I'm a co-founder of Limitless Medical Technologies. I'd like to start by inviting you to please imagine that you're one of the 2 million people each year who has an intestinal repair called an anastomosis. An anastomosis is a surgical technique where two tubular structures, like your intestines, are repaired and reconnected. After surgery, your doctor assures you that you are fixed up and sends you home. But a few weeks later, you start to feel ill and you think it's probably just the flu, right? Well, that flu gets worse. You wake up with a racing pulse, high fever, throbbing abdomen, and this is clearly now serious, requiring an ambulance, ER visit, and expensive medical bills. Chances are you have a potentially fatal surgical complication that is causing intestinal fluid to leak into your body cavity. And all that time you thought you had the flu allowed this complication to get worse, which is why an intervention here can change the outcome of this case and reduce fatality. That's why my team and I at Limitless Medical Technologies are looking to empower patients to play a more active role in their post-op care to reduce unnecessary patient harm and suffering for the roughly 20% of anastomoses that leak. Each year, these leaks create $11.2 billion in costs to the US healthcare system. Why? Because they start undetected. My team and I are prototyping a detection and diagnostic system for these post-op complications. Our pioneering solution can save time, lives, and $150,000 in costs per anastomosis leak case. Our solution is twofold: a mobile app with a biometric wearable and a biodegradable film implanted at the time of the initial surgery. Anastacare is our symptom tracking system used in at-home detection of anastomosis leaks. Features include symptom monitoring, biometric capabilities, and physician notification. This product can be scaled to address numerous other post-op complications to increase our access to our target customer base, ambulatory surgery centers. Our next product, Anastasense, is a complement to our remote patient monitoring tool that works after the app has alerted patients and providers that there might be a surgical complication. This biodegradable film is implanted at the time of the initial surgery and becomes visible under X-ray in the presence of a leak, which is more precise and cost-effective than current diagnostic methods. Our two-product bundle of an advanced diagnostic method and symptom monitoring mobile app is well differentiated from its peers. There's minimal competition in the remote patient monitoring space for post-surgical applications because the majority of the competition is focused on chronic disease management. We're also aware of the risks involved in bringing a product like this to market. So we're focusing on mitigating the highest risks: regulatory, reimbursement, and distribution, using a two-product launch, two separate product launches, and our regulatory strategy. To reduce adoption risk of a bundled system, we are going to launch our products separately. Our first product rollout will be app-only in 2024 and rely on existing billing and insurance codes because other products like this are already being reimbursed, paid for, and used. When we will then scale through offering both of our products in a bundle, leveraging traction that we've previously created. We're moving quickly through prototyping and are now seeking additional funding from you to complete advanced prototype testing of our product in tissue. These tests are the first step towards our bundled product launch in 2027 and are a critical piece of information to establish value and proof of concept to approach investors and strategic partners, such as larger medical devices, for access to their manufacturing and distribution networks. In order to accomplish these milestones, we plan to raise $75 million in a series of 4 rounds over 6 years. This will accomplish our dream of saving lives on a strong margin. With a conservative estimate of capturing 2% of all anastomosis surgeries, we're projecting $150 million in revenue by 2028. Our team is optimized to accomplish these goals through our strong and diversified experience. So our ask for you is this: provide us with the additional funding we need to complete our tissue studies so we can be one step closer to improving post-op care and saving lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. That was right on the dot. All right, judges, who's curious about something?
I have a question. So what are some of the user experiences within the app actually look like, and how do you go to market? So more specifically, once the test is done and the patient is using the app and there are alarming symptoms, does it automatically alarm the hospital or the medical staff? Or does the patient have to bring that data and explain their symptoms over again? And will the doctors and the hospital medical staff recommend the app to the patients after the surgery, or do the patients have to find about the app by themselves?
Thank you for your questions. I will try to answer them in order. So you first asked about app development and how that's going, the user experience. So we're envisioning a symptom monitoring test that would ping someone at certain intervals throughout the day to assess their symptoms, the basic ones of post-op monitoring. Do you have a fever? Is your abdomen hurting? That sort of thing. And that information, as well as any biometric measurements that are out of tolerance, will automatically be sent to the provider through EMR integration. And the patient will also be notified to seek medical attention. Your next question, I believe, was on going to market. We're hoping that the surgeons in these ambulatory care surgeries facilities will offer the product to their patients because it will allow them to conduct more surgeries. It coincides with their own business model of growing their own practices.
All right, who else has a question?
Hey, I have a quick question. This is a known problem that you're solving, and I'm just wondering why do you think more effort has not been put in regards to solving it before? Because if let's say I sell TVs, and I know there's a 20% chance it might break, I myself would say, hey, I should probably do something about this. So why do you think the medical community has not paid as much attention to this as they could?
Well, for starters, the remote patient monitoring technology, that is relatively new, up and coming. So they wanted to go after the place where they can make the biggest difference, which is chronic disease management. And now that incentives in healthcare are shifting to promote more outpatient services, outpatient surgical procedures, that's where we're fitting in with our twist on that.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, who next?
I can go next.
Thank you.
Two quick questions. They're not at all related. One, do you think that the X-ray will be conclusive basically every single time? Like, will there be situations where the X-ray goes and people say, let's just do the CAT scan anyway as well, just to be certain that you're not about to die? And two, given the long life cycle, you're looking at 5 years before your first app, 7 years before you're really out there. Is it the intention of the founding team here to have this be your full-time, occupation going for that whole time period before we even get anything to market? Or, is this going to be one focus among many others?
Thank you for your question. So our answer to the first question is yes. The components of Anastasense are high contrast agents under X-ray and can provide a better reading than CT scans, which per surgeons who do this professionally can be cloudy, can be inconclusive, can lead to potentially exploratory and unnecessary surgery. So we want to provide them a better solution than what's currently offered. And your next question is on the intentions of the team. I know myself, until we scale up larger, I want to continue doing this amongst many things to build my own base of knowledge. We're all young. We know that. We want to keep learning. But once we hit that tipping point, we absolutely all intend on coming on full time.
All right, we have 48 seconds. Who wants to get in a short question?
I got a short one. I'm sorry if I missed it. Who are you going to be doing some of this testing through? Because I think this is a big turning point for the company. So I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, so all of the non-GLP good laboratory practice testing will be done in-house through us. That includes tissue studies, small animal studies. Once we shift over into needing to provide the FDA results, we'll partner with a CRO. There's several local. UB even has one, UB Rise, and they can help us with our compliance studies.
All right. Thank you so much, Andrea. Wonderful. We'll give our judges a moment while Team Bosk joins us. Hi, Sriya. It's good to see you.
Hi.
When you get a moment, please share your screen and let me know when you're ready.
Okay. I am ready.
Okay, now we'll wait on our judges for a moment. Give them a few more seconds to catch up. Are there any judges that are not complete yet? Okay, here we go. Team Bosk, ready, set, pitch.
Hi, my name is Sriya Guha, and I'm here on behalf of Bosk, Made for You. In 2019, about 3.75 million babies were born, of which 85% of moms used breast pumps. That means 5 to 8 times a day, they were strapped to a machine pumping away. Let's take a look at the pump options they have. In the current market, there are 3 types of pumps: the manual, the automatic, and the portable. While the manual and the automatic are the first reach products, moms often resort to buying a portable $500 pump because of the lack of results with the first 2. We decided to conduct a survey to understand more of the complaints moms had. Let's take a look at the results. As you can see, the top 3 complaints were portability, efficiency, and flange. Here at Bosk, we wanted to make a difference. We wanted to revolutionize the pumping industry by taking into consideration the top priorities of moms. We wanted to create a premium product for our target customers, moms that don't fit the standard pump, and moms that were tired of the pain and lack of results with the pump options they did have. So we created a survey where customers can fill out options regarding the breast size, their breast shape, and their nipple type. And we would personally send out cups that we feel would fit them best and give them various options. Customers could then return the ones that don't fit them and keep the ones that do. Unfortunately, we can't get too much into the design of the pump since we are pursuing a patent. Now, most breast pumps use a 2-phase expression, as you can see in this image right here. This creates a square-like wave, resulting in a painful and uncomfortable experience. What sets us apart is that we are implementing a peristaltic pump, which creates a sinusoidal wave. This mimics a baby's nursing motion, which creates a more smoother and gentler suction, creating a more comfortable and enjoyable experience for the mom. Our future company goals also include creating a more affordable automatic pump, a smart milk tracker, an app with data and health notifications, lactation and breast pump support, as well as a self-care momscription boxes. Since we are a relatively new establishment, we plan on implementing the direct-to-consumer approach, where we would personally send our product to the customer once they place it through our website. If we take a look at the total available market, About 3.2 million people use breast pumps, of which, if we consider the products sold by our competitors, the Willow and LV, and target even 5% of that, we would sell about 6,500 products. With a retail cost of $500 and a cost per unit of $78, we would generate a revenue of $3.24 million. We plan on selling within the US to start off with and expanding our brand through social media platforms by collaborating with influencers and posting on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, etc. But to start off, we want to start by talking to you. Some of the milestones we completed this year include winning the Empower Pitch competition. We plan on competing in more competitions as such so that we can secure capital required to develop a viable prototype. By 2022, we want to file a patent, receive FDA approval, and test our product and receive feedback and refinement so that by 2023, we can launch it. Some of our future plans also include this process of design, testing, feedback, and refinement so that we can launch more products. Our team is a diverse group of female engineers who are current undergraduates and recent graduates of the University at Buffalo. Here at BOSC, we're the only ones considering how personal this process is, and we are humanizing this. Being a mom is already hard. Pumping shouldn't be, so we wanted to make a change. We wanted to create a pump for moms, for sisters, for daughters, for friends, for us, and for you. We are BOSC, made for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sriya. All right, judges, who'd like to start with our first question?
I'll go first. Could you tell me a little bit about how you settled on $500 and how that relates to what's out there already, the cost of the existing solutions?
I could take that question. So currently there is only 2 portable pumps on the market, the LV and the Willow. They would be our primary competitor and they market at $500 as well. So we are entering the market at their cost.
It's great, thanks.
All right, who'd like to go next?
I'll go. In terms of kind of targeting for how you want to utilize social media to promote, what type of influencers you're going to target, what kind of, there are tons of moms everywhere, but is there a particular, group of mothers that you're looking to target for at least your initial go live to start get things going? What influencers will you want to work with that will represent that and properly kind of sell your product? How will you decide when you want to target, the timing for hitting these mothers with these advertisements, that kind of stuff, general advertising type things?
I can answer this question. So we plan on targeting lifestyle influencers who have recently had kids or have been using pumps. So we would ideally target new moms or moms that are continuing to pump after giving birth. So off the top of my head, there are influencers like OK Baby, KK and Baby J, the Ace family, who would ideally advertise our pumps. We plan on really reaching out to them after we have a viable prototype and receive feedback, refine it so that we can actually start advertising for it.
And to add to what Sriya just said, one of our main targets are also experienced mothers who already are on their second kids, who know that breast pumps actually hurt when you use them. We also want to target mothers who know the pain of using the pump and will be ready to buy our pump since our pump offers comfort, which is not available in the market right now.
All right, next question, please.
I have a quick question. So what are your next steps and what is the biggest blocker to achieving that?
So our next step is to create a more affordable automatic pump. Currently, we want to start off with a premium product since there is a huge demand for it because moms are so tired of the lack of results they get with the manual and automatic pumps that are already readily available in the market. So with this premium product, we hope to create enough of volume of an audience and then release this automatic affordable pump. From there, we plan on also incorporating lactation and breast pump services, milk tracker, which will tell the user how much milk they've pumped, also an app that would provide data regarding this and health notifications to the customer. Another source of revenue, we would want to also create self-care mom subscription boxes just so that they can take care of themselves while also taking care of their baby.
However, like currently, let me add on to that. Currently, as a company right now, I think our biggest barrier is getting that initial capital to start prototyping. Immediately, that is our next step, to start prototyping this premium product. We already have CAD drawings. We've already laid out the specs on the inside, how it's going to look, but like we need to get started on prototyping, and the finances and capital to start that is our biggest current barrier, as we're all just recent graduates and still current students.
Just a quick question on the $38 to make. How did you come to that number on your cost of goods sold?
Oh, it's
you can take that, America.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. So it's $78, and those $78 we were able to work and partner with Product Logic and talk about like the materials we do need. So we factored in the materials, the labor, and then the cost of shipping. They were able to give us quotes based on like previous products and prototypes they worked in the past, and how using the materials we want to use, it would play out financially.
All right, 30 seconds. Let's get a quick question in.
Have you thought about where this would be manufactured? And if it's not going to be the US, what's the IP plan for that?
Take that one as well. We currently were looking, it is possible to manufacture in the US as well as abroad, it would be cheaper. But in terms of like quality control, we were hoping to do it here in the US, and we factored in US costs for this. So if we were to go abroad, it would reduce costs and just increase our profit on per unit. But initially we do hope to here manufacture within the US and create jobs here in locally in Buffalo, as we are starting here. And most of these competition has enabled us to network here in Buffalo.
Great. Thank you, boss. Thank you so much. All right. Next up, we have Layer Slayers. I'll let our judges finish submitting their forms as Layer Slayers joins us. Hey, welcome, Kamal. Welcome, Donnell. Are you able to, yep, share your screen. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Can you guys see it?
Stuff. Yes, very well. Thanks for asking.
Cool. And Donald, you want to test out your mic before we go?
Testing. Do you hear me?
Yes, very well.
All right.
All right. Are you ready to go?
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, let me ask the judges. Is anybody on our esteemed judging panel not ready for us to proceed? All right, then. I think we're going to pull the ripcord. Here we go. Ready, set, pitch.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kamal, and I'm here with Donnell, and we're co-founders of Layer Slayers. This presentation is about our launch product, the Minerva online education platform for 3D printing. Our mission with Minerva is helping makers learn to make. Now, judges, thank you for your time this afternoon. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes while I tell you this story. I want you to listen to me, and I want you to listen to yourselves. This story is about you and the continuation of your professional career. Can you visualize and think back on your journey and what training resources were available to you? Did you ever feel frustrated when someone asked you to do something and they assumed that you had learned to do it in school? How hard was it to find the resources you needed? Didn't it feel impossible? You started there and you moved up to where you are today by spending hours trying to find the resources you needed to learn and hone your skills. How many times have you heard or said, hindsight is 20/20? Now open your eyes and imagine suddenly you're an aspiring 3D printing professional at the beginning of your journey, young or old, asking where to learn, and the best answer someone can give to you is, look it up on the internet. because we all know the internet is always right. With hundreds of 3D printing companies, hundreds of materials to print with, and infinite applications, the education for 3D printing is scattered. We know this from talking with industry professionals and from our own personal experiences. So, with no dedicated additive manufacturing education, the success is scattered, making the large learning curve to 3D printing even bigger, and it takes years to become an expert because you just spend so much time jumping from one resource to another, trying to find the information you actually need. So, our solution is to build the ultimate destination focused on high quality 3D printing education to reduce trial and error time within a company's additive manufacturing. Our dedicated product is the Minerva online education platform, which will provide the industry with the education they need. Minerva will be a library of coursework that includes educational videos and expert-written guides. Users can learn from hands-on projects and test their knowledge with interactive assessments. Minerva also has unique features, such as unbiased content, which is super important because none of our content is an advertisement to sell you a machine. We also have AI and VR-enabled gamified education to make learning fun, and at the later feature called On-Demand Learning, where we help users learn when they need it most. With Minerva, anyone can learn 3D printing in years to days.
Our ideal customers are companies who want to engage in workforce development for their manufacturing teams, engineers, and sales representatives. These companies have use cases within product development and manufacturing. For example, 3 out of the 5 companies in this competition, not including us, will use 3D printing during their product development. Now, Minerva does have competition. However, with our easily accessible platform that is always updating with unbiased, commercial-focused, gamified education, Minerva will operate with where our competition falls short so that we can fill in the gaps to provide a great learning experience for our customers. Our education revenue model is a recurring subscription model, and the price is $240 per user per year, which breaks down to $20 a month. And we set a goal for 416 users this year, which will lead to $100,000 in revenue for 2021. We've grown the number of users on our platform, partnerships with more and more companies. We project our revenue to grow from $100,000 this year to $13.2 million by 2026 with 55,000 users.
Our diverse team is made up of 3 founders, an awesome software development team, and a great board of advisors. Our third co-founder is Daniel Hutchinson, who is the founder and CTO of a very successful company called Post-Process Technologies, which is a world leader in the additive manufacturing industry. It's great to have Daniel on the team with all of the resources, connections, and experience he brings to Layer Slayers. On the left, you can see a list of our traction. We've had interest from many local Buffalo companies, including Herbell Medical, who has said that we can train their 20 engineers with our platform once it's complete. The interest we've received so far accounts for $9,840 in potential revenue once we launch. Our MVP is about 50% developed, and we expect it to be finished in May. And we just received Startup New York approval last week, and we'll be moving into the UB Baird Park incubator by the end of this month. The Panasci funds will be used to help us develop the platform and education materials, marketing, and hosting costs for the platform. In summary, we are laying the foundation to scale and implement additive manufacturing by filling a growing need in an expanding industry, and this is a unique solution with large investable future. Thank you so much for your time. We would love for you to come on this journey with us and build another successful UB company that will have an impact beyond Buffalo. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Kamal. Thank you, Donnell. Who wants to ask their first question?
Can you discuss kind of the revenue plan and kind of how you get to market?
Sure.
If there's partnerships that you plan to develop and whatnot, can you just kind of speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So let me just go to that slide. So let me answer your first question. So partnerships, through Daniel's industry connections, he has been able to begin talking to a lot of these industry leaders to start building educational content partnerships to where they can offer their education for their hardware right on our platform. And then we're also building sales channel partnerships to be able to offer our platform as kind of an add-on to their hardware sales, so that if a company is selling a printer, they can say, hey, you can also get this great education from Minerva right from us, which is how we see the partnerships and that kind of business model happening.
Is there anything you've learned on market demand since you started?
Yeah.
Have you had any kind of, when you first thought this up, did you learn something that you figured out that you can implement from a revenue standpoint?
Come on, before you answer that, can you go into like the view, like the other view where you can see all the sides at once? Okay, that'll make it easier.
Okay. I'm a little confused on your question. Do you mind clarifying what you're asking?
Well, can you just tell me, what is the feedback so far from the market?
Oh, yeah, of course. So a lot of the conversations we're having with people, they keep telling us repeatedly that their most popular frustrations are the information they need is just so scattered and sporadic, and it's often really hard to find commercial-focused education on the internet where commercial-focused education is not being taught, right? Someone on YouTube doesn't have access to a $20,000 printer. They're not making videos for that. So it's really hard for these people to find education for the machines and materials that they're using. So they actually are really looking forward to something like this.
And they're willing to pay for this solution?
Yeah.
And
so
do you have an idea on pricing and how you plan to?
Yeah. So the price we've set is $240 per user per year. And our idea behind that is we've had some research on professional development budgets within companies, and they usually budget around $500 to $1,000 per year per employee. So $240 fits nicely in that budget. And also, since 3D printing is always evolving and always innovating, they're going to constantly need education. They're going to continue moving forward with their 3D printing and additive manufacturing. So we see this as a recurring subscription.
Got it. Sounds good.
Thank you.
All right, who'd like to go next?
I have a quick question. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go, Terry. You go.
Oh, thank you. Quick question in regards to your projections. I'm wondering, has there been any kind of impact due to COVID on where you see the future of 3D printing going? Is it going up? Is it going down? Is it plateauing? What's the more or less the change that you're seeing?
Fantastic question. So with supply chains falling apart during COVID and people not being able to get in the materials that they wanted to get in, they needed to manufacture it quickly and accurately. So if you ever took a COVID test and had a nasal swab up your nose and in your mouth, that was 3D printed. Every single one of those were 3D printed. So 3D printing has really been accelerated by the pandemic.
Okay. Outside of nasal swabs, are there other reasons why this demand would change?
Yeah, if you need something that's coming out from overseas and you can no longer ship it, you're going to have to find a way to make it in-house or in close by. And the best way to do that is 3D printing for many use cases, because you can quickly iterate, you can quickly print it. If it's not up to the standard, change your design and print it again, right? So it's very rapid. That's why a lot of companies use it for their development purposes. In this slide here, the cost and project lead times for when you're not using 3D printing compared to when you are using 3D printing, it's just drastic. It's night and day. So it really did help the pandemic a lot.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
All right, 20 seconds. Quick question in, quick question out.
All right, just real quick. Do you think that some of the existing education companies, the LMS systems, are going to start doing this as well, and potentially take up some of your market?
So great question. So we believe that there is no current 3D printing LMS that is focused on commercial users like we are. There's Coursera and Udemy, and they're focused on retail consumers, but there is no one focusing on the commercial aspect as much as we are. So may there be competitors in the future? Maybe, who knows? But will they be able to have a person like Daniel Hutchinson form partnerships with industry leaders and sales channel partners? Probably not. So I think we're going to stay ahead of them pretty well.
All right. Thank you so much, Team Layer Slayers. Finally, we'll call back Apollo Technologies while our judges finalize their notes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. All right, good stuff. We see your screen. Hey, yeah, exactly. Are you ready? Okay, let me check with the judges to make sure that they're ready as well. Un momento. Judges, can you let me know if you're not ready yet for us to proceed? All right, I'm going to take that as affirmative. We are clear to go. All right, ready, set, pitch.
Hello, my name is Ryan Young. I'm an MD MBA candidate at Jacobs School of Medicine, and I'm also founder and CEO of Apollo Technologies, a cloud-based AI ecosystem which learns from a wide range of healthcare data to optimize operating room scheduling, providing a marketplace for healthcare facilities to sell the resulting vacancies to health insurance companies. On an anesthesiology rotation 2 years ago at a local hospital, I was in a staff meeting about operating room logistics. The hospital had already paid a healthcare consulting firm a few $1 million to improve their logistics. Still, something was missing. They had determined they were receiving inaccurate duration forecasts from their electronic medical record system. At the end of the meeting, because medical students are seen but not heard in these types of staff meetings, I volunteered to help solve a problem, and that's how Apollo was born.
Inefficient surgery duration forecasting leaves revenue opportunities locked away and frustrates surgical suite staff at healthcare facilities. And of course, for payers, it leads to higher claim payouts and fewer opportunities to dispatch patients to efficient, high-quality, low-cost facilities. Now, in one facility, we found the difference between the scheduled and actual surgery duration times reached plus or minus 10 minutes, only 30% of the time. Better surgical duration forecasting, a predictable cycle within the ORs, is the key to improving the entire scheduling process, from capacity planning and staff assignment to the allocation of unused block times. Apollo Technologies confronts this problem head-on. We leverage existing data to feed a machine learning algorithm that improves upon current industry standards in surgery duration forecasting by 2 to 3x. Our out-of-the-box solution requires little to no training and no transaction fees for implementation, helping surgical suite administrators make data-driven decisions to improve the efficiency of their ORs. Through the Apollo Exchange, we connect health insurance payers directly to healthcare facilities that are already using Apollo. Our symbiotic ecosystem of products serviced directly through the cloud generates more revenue for surgery centers through better surgery duration forecasting and simultaneously helps payers achieve their high-quality, low-cost priorities. We use technology to solve real-world business problems in the OR.
Apollo Technologies has two revenue streams. First, through Apollo, the surgery duration forecasting algorithm, we earn money through a risk-sharing revenue model. This ensures our facility customers feel confident choosing us as their vendor. Through the Apollo Exchange, we act as a broker between health insurance companies and healthcare facilities, creating a new market for medical services to be bought and sold. Each time a health insurance company dispatches a patient through the Apollo Exchange, we charge the insurer a commission fee. Our go-to-market strategy is simple: focus, leverage, network. We concentrate our sales and marketing efforts in specific geographic areas to connect with our early adopters, ambulatory surgery centers. We leverage each partnership through improved models and faster implementation to new systems. Finally, we achieve network effects through the Apollo Exchange. Developing a relationship between insurers and facilities is the key to Apollo Technologies' long-term success. And if we're right, a single successful spot market in a geographic region such as Buffalo demonstrates the value of similar exchanges in other metropolitan areas around the country.
Now, from a view of cost savings alone, Apollo Technologies taps into a total addressable market worth more than $40 billion. Our early adopters, ASCs, make up 60% of that TAM. Individually, Apollo can save the largest healthcare facilities more than $12 million per year. New entrants into this industry like LeanTask, Hospital IQ, and Qventus demonstrate the value technology solutions provide for OR management. Now, Apollo Technologies stands out among the competition as the only company to provide surgery duration forecasts in minutes to its end users. Additionally, none of these solutions bridge the gap between health insurance payers and healthcare facilities through a tool like the Apollo Exchange.
We are in talks for pilot this year with a large healthcare system in Western New York. Also, we've had the opportunity to present our solution to C-suite and senior executives at Anthem, Humana, and Blackstone Equity Healthcare. We are a team with a broad background of capabilities and experiences, from using analytics to improve business outcomes to crafting technology that result in successful startup exits. The management team at Apollo Technologies is ready to empower the healthcare industry to utilize clinical data to make better operational decisions. Help launch Apollo Technology today to see how better forecasts lead to better ops. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Anders. I'd like to turn the floor over to our judges to ask questions.
Hi. A quick question on the other folks who are sort of popping into this. I think this is very interesting. Do you have any idea to what level those other competitors, potential competitors, have been funded, and where do you sit in comparison to them right now?
LeanTest to date has raised $200 million. The difference between their technology and ours is they use a machine learning algorithm which predicts the seasonality analysis, where they basically are predicting the percentage that an actual OR block will be available at a certain time. However, you need to still know how long each surgery that goes into those OR blocks take, and that's where we come in, because we're actually saying this is the number of minutes. Dr. Smith performing a surgery on Mrs. Jones is going to take, this particular surgery on Mrs. Jones is going to take 63 minutes.
All right, who else would like to ask?
Quick question on the data. How do you affect, I guess, what's the onboarding process like for a hospital? How do you get the data into your systems? How does your systems work with existing hospital management systems across the board? How do you handle sensitivities with regards to the data? That kind of stuff.
Oh, sure. So our cloud infrastructure, we're going to be AWS, a GovCloud. So if it's secure for the federal government, that's where they put like a lot of their sensitive documents on. So we'll be using those type of servers. We're also taking a look at using actually elliptical curve cryptography. So in a sense, what that is so we'll have our key, and then the customer will have their key on their servers. All of the data is encrypted, so we actually can't even see it. And the idea is that when they send their key over, essentially giving us permission to actually view the data, to actually do a processing, either via training, model training, or inferencing, it's just that next step up in terms of actually protecting the data. Did you want me to elaborate on?
Just on the onboarding specifically for a hospital or
onboarding
surgery center.
Sure. So the onboarding, it would be primarily that since we are primarily focused on the ambulatory surgery center side, the idea is post IT review, we would be doing the entire bridge building process. We actually are looking to almost automate that process, and that's kind of where we get that network effects ability. Is that way? Okay, this particular EMR system, right, is very similar to a customer that we had before, and then be able to then automate that particular part of it. In terms of the data itself, we're looking either from like quality control data, but also patient data, such as using the medical natural language processing functions in Apollo itself, being able to actually get that medical data from the patient's medical record.
All right, who else is curious about Apollo?
I have a quick question. So the way I understand it is by looking at surgery times on average, you're able to help hospitals process better scheduling system for OR. So how does that work with any anomalies? So sometimes the surgery will go extra long and there isn't anything anyone can do about the rooms that have already been booked based on your AI. So how do you deal with those case by case anomalies?
Yeah, I think it actually a good way is kind of just what they currently do is primarily just a moving average. So Dr. Smith, moving average, but that doesn't capture actually the complexities of each patient. So for example, if you have somebody who has COPD because they've been smoking 20, 30 years, it actually takes them longer to get off the ventilator. That's not captured with the existing system, which is just using the moving averages. That's the Apollo difference, is that we're going to prevent those really long delays. In fact, we do have a graph on how those Apollo, in terms of the 60-minute or more delays, Honors, could you be able to pull that up? Yeah, so in this particular graph, what ends up happening is for surgeries where the existing system, which is the moving average method, was off by more than 60 minutes, either plus or minus, Apollo was actually, because Apollo was actually within still plus or minus 10 minutes in our prediction, more than we were able to save about $1,000 every 8 surgeries because of that unexpected variation that Apollo was able to account for due to understanding the medical side of the clinical side of why something will take longer, like someone with COPD.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Apollo Technologies. That concludes today's presentations. We'll now move the judges to a breakout room to deliberate. And while we await the final awards, we have some special guests for a quick panel discussion with you. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Celine Krizan, Public Relations and Content Strategy Associate for Shays Performing Arts Center and Executive Director of 13 Players. Celine will moderate a Founders Story panel with 3 past winning Panasci teams. Celine, welcome.
Thank you, David. I am so thrilled to be here, and I cannot wait to be joined shortly with our past Panasci winners. And we're going to have a fantastic, fantastic conversation. With my background in theater and my background in business, I model myself as a storyteller, so I can't wait to share the stories of these founders.
Very good.
So we'll be joined quickly, right? Are they coming right on stage, David?
I believe so, as soon as they are ready. Yep, so we can have a quick banter.
I am ready to banter. I like your ready, set, pitch. So if you want to do ready, set, panel, that is, we love
that's kind.
that.
I tried to keep things kind of buttoned up today, you know?
I love it. Very well done. And
That's the only part that was leaking out that was goofball.
And congrats to all of those of you who did present. Luckily enough, I've been introduced to all of your companies before, so I feel like I know you. So I was rooting all of you on, and I'm very excited.
Oh, good stuff. All right, let's see. Ooh, look, our panel is already being projected.
Our panel, yes, I will. We have Adam Ogechi. I don't believe he's joining us today, but we have Adam. Hello, Shane. Good to see you. Shane and Ryan, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, guys. Good to have you here. So thank you, Ryan. So let's jump right in. I know I am excited and honored to be moderating a panel with the 3 of you and getting to chat today. So to kick us off, I'm just going to ask each of you to introduce yourselves, give us a little bit of background on your company. And the way I want you to think about it is keep it to like that 60-second pitch. So give us a quick overview of you and your company. So Adam, I'm going to kick it off with you, our 2020 winner.
Great, thank you so much. We founded Immunion a couple of years ago, which is a company that isolates and stores healthy immune cells, those killer cells in the body that usually fight against bacterial and viral infections. We know as we get older, those immune cells break down, which is why COVID's been so devastating for the oldest among us. But we have a very special strategy in fighting cancer where we use those immune cells in immunotherapy. So we provide our clients the opportunity to store those healthy cells away. We were very grateful for our experience with Panasci and really looking forward to hearing from the other past winners and continuing the discussion in the panel. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you, Adam. And Shane, I'm going to hand it off to you.
Thanks. Thanks, Celine. I'm Shane from Aviate Audio. We won the competition in 2018. Ryan as well joining me from the company. And we are a company that looks to elevate musical performance by developing advanced technology tools to accomplish that. Ryan and I are both longtime musicians. Our team is all really passionate musicians, and we're really just combining our passions from music and engineering and business to create an amazing company that looks to just help people achieve their highest selves when it comes to creative performances.
Awesome. Thank you, Shane. And Ryan, take us home.
Nice. Yeah. So I'm Ryan. I'm from Aviate Audio. Shane and I, we won the competition in 2018. And just to back up what Shane said, our mission really is to help musicians with their signature style, which is how they play their guitar and how they interact with their instrument, and also their signature sound, which is all the access to all the different types of effects that they can access with our product. So yeah, that's pretty much our mission, and we're really excited for being here. Happy to be on the panel.
And Shane and Ryan, I'm actually going to start off with the two of you for my first question. So I know the two of you were classmates, and then you co-founded a company together. So can you talk a little bit about how did you know you two would be great partners and good co-founders, and how do you maintain that relationship now?
Nice. I could start. Shane and I have actually known each other for a while. So we've been working together. We were both electrical engineering students. And since freshman year, we worked together and we're in a lot of the same classes. So we developed that working relationship and that trust over time. And then when it came time to form the company, we had a lot of mutual interest in music products. We're both, passionate musicians, and so it was the right fit. And when we were able to do our senior design project, that's when we were able to actually start working on our first prototype together.
To add, a lot of people will tell you, in entrepreneurship, that the idea that you have will only take you so far. It's really the team that matters the most. So, we've been really lucky to have a strong team. Ryan and I have been really lucky to have such a good working relationship and common interests that sort of founded the basis of what we're doing. But then beyond that, differences that complemented each other in the way that we approach business and just, problem solving in general. So I think that's really been the key to success as far as the teams.
And that actually goes perfectly into my next question. So Adam, I know you got your PhD from UB. Where did this idea for this company come from? And then what partners did you team up with to get it to the next level?
That's a great question. So having spent my time in the immunology department over at Roswell Park, we were kind of on the front lines of how we were beginning to utilize immunotherapy to recognize the increased efficacy of that therapeutic regimen. But clearly there were challenges that existed. 2017 was the first FDA approval of a cell-based immunotherapy, where we could take those cells out and retrain them to fight the cancer. And what I was seeing on the ground clinically was it could be incredibly effective, but it's only effective in the patients that it works in, right? So 30%, they get great responses. Everybody else kind of falls through the wayside. So we were thinking, how can we make this more effective, not only from a research perspective, but also with our clinical partners. What's been fantastic in Immunion's journey is that the partners that we have been able to engage with have really been the university as an entire research system, right? Roswell on the clinical side. We're actively partnered with the myeloma clinical team over at Roswell today in order to bring this approach to the clinical side. We have also been able to engage with, the business strategy partners that UB has, been able to partner with just a lot of different aspects of the university research and clinical system, and also some great team, along the way. One of our initial team members, Dan Rera, he spent years at M&T Bank as vice president of treasury, right? But that's what's so wonderful about Buffalo is you meet people along the way. He also is a graduate of UB, got his master's in economics and his MBA, and we were put in contact by virtue of our relationship with the university today. So I really feel like UB has a special way of kind of developing those relationships for companies as they're starting and trying to grow, because certainly I don't have the business acumen to be able to successfully execute on a venture like this on my own.
But I love that point, Adam, about the beauty of UB, the beauty of Buffalo. I don't know about you guys, if you wear a Bills hat, like anywhere in any part of the country, people just give you a quick shout out. So I think that's a nice gift. So Shane and Ryan, similar to you. So I know the idea was the music industry, but also what connections have you found in Buffalo and partnerships that you're working with now?
Well, there's been so much support from the community in general. I think Buffalo has just one of the strongest entrepreneurship and startup communities that I've ever come across. It's been really amazing stemming from UB and then beyond that to participate in different programs, but then also find out just how many people in this region have something that's relevant to you. So you'd be impressed by some of the people and the experiences that they've had and what they can and what they're able to do to help lift you up. So it's been an incredible experience coming to network and also finding mentors and advisors to the company here. Everything that we've really done so far has been through the support of that community. So it's really just been tremendously valuable. Ryan, maybe you have any specific examples of like different partners?
Yeah, I mean, the willingness to help is the greatest part about this community in Buffalo. Everybody that I've come across is always, willing to help, or if they have time, then they're willing to listen to you and hear, what are your needs, what are your problems, what's your biggest issue, how can I help you solve it? And there's so many people here that come from such a diverse variety of backgrounds. Everybody has something to offer, and they're willing to offer that to you and at least give you, some advice. So ever since Panasci, we've been put in contact with so many people that have helped us along the way. So that's been great. I love the community here.
And I think it's that authenticity of the city of Buffalo, and this community wants entrepreneurs to do well, and UB wants entrepreneurs to do well and continue and blossom and give back to that next generation. And we've seen that with ACV. We all know people who work there. It's wild. So it's an exciting time to be an entrepreneur in Buffalo.
Agreed.
And with that leading into that, so how did winning Panasci support your venture development for your company? And that's open to any of you, whoever want to starts it out for us.
You guys want to go ahead and field it first, and I can take it, after you finish up.
Sure.
So
yeah, Shane, you want to go?
Yeah, I guess I've said this before, but Panasci was really that catalyzing moment that sort of put us on this path. We had, and it was also the process of going through Panasci that I think prepared us for it too, going through the different stages of competition, receiving feedback from the judges along the way, and implementing that in our business planning. And then finally, when we were able to win the competition, it really changed things for us. I mean, it really wasn't just the prize funding, but it was what the program means and the different, what it means to really, just what it means. And so it gave us the confidence and the inspiration to really commit ourselves to the ventures. We committed to it full time. And I think that's really what the competition's meant to do. It gave us that footing to be able to jump off and take the next step towards launching the business. So that was really formative to the company.
Ryan, anything to add, or did Shane cover it for you?
I would say that let's see. Yeah, it was such a catalyzing moment when we won, and from there we got put in contact with a lot of people and brought on mentors and advisors that helped guide us through the program, like Henry Goodman. I'd give him a shout out because I know he's here. He was very, very helpful for us in getting organized and, just starting as such a young company, building out all the, the day-to-day and operations and everything when you're first starting is very critical to do that right when you start. And then that way you don't run into any issues down the line and you can always build. So yeah, from Panasci, that month after Panasci was like an absolute whirlwind. It was crazy. There was, we had other competitions that came afterwards, and Panasci was really the nucleus, like how all that came about. So.
And Adam, I know you won in 2020, so tell us a little bit about ever since.
Sure. I think Shane really nailed it on the head. It was about the process that I think put us into a position where we could have the potential to be successful as a company by virtue of going through what Panasci trains us to think like and kind of the entire educational aspect of it, along with the relationships that we built, and then what we've been able to do since. For all those young teams out there, we had competed the year before and did not win, right? So there were even more iterations, more relationships built, more feedback And that really helped us. It not only since the win has allowed us to draw upon that capital to initiate the marketing materials that we needed to come out into kind of the Buffalo community at large. You know, our chief medical officer, Tom White, is one of the practicing physicians for the Buffalo Bills. And if I weren't able to show him what we were doing in a digestible way, we wouldn't be able to foster those kinds of Buffalo-centric partnerships that have allowed us to really engage with the community as a whole. But you know, we were able to go through the I-Core program and with Martin Cass-Stevens, a fantastic program, and so kind of that further development of how we define customer segments and just appreciate how we can really bring our product to market has also stemmed from the win. And of course, being in 2020, we were in the midst of COVID at the time. It was a nice masked competition last year. And so, you know, I think since then, we've just been able to really draw upon all of that which we have learned to understand, even in these challenging times, how we can most effectively target our marketing strategy and our messaging to really be able to come into the market and just start a viable company.
And having the time to do that, but also being forced to say you're going to stand on stage and you have to sell your company to us. You have 5 minutes or whatever to do it, and you get questions from these amazing people who can open doors for you is beautiful. And the way that Launchpad helps prepare, I think, is just another huge kudos to them. So, right. Well, I'm going to go back to Adam. So besides Panasci, what's a favorite memory or moment in business that you're really proud of?
Well, that's a great question. I think that, you know, when we engage, and I can't probably pinpoint a specific experience, but when we are able to bring the understanding and the interpretation of what we've been able to kind of coalesce by virtue of Panasci and the training and the partnerships to get good feedback from other organizations like Launch New York, like, you know, even other partners and business advisors, you know, that we've had, those are just little bits that, you know, it makes us feel good as a company knowing that we're on the right track. And we certainly wouldn't have been put even on that road if it weren't for all the experience that we had with Panasci.
Fantastic. And Shane and Ryan, how about you? A favorite moment in business?
There are definitely many. You know, we've had a lot of opportunities and some amazing times. I think some highlights were definitely being able to actually go travel to China and meet with different manufacturers and be able to discover some manufacturing partnerships that we still have to this day, people who are helping us make our product and have become really close partners to the company. So we're really thankful for those experiences. And also what we learned there turned out to be a crazy time, you know, going for the first time and doing business there, learning, you know, some things that we thought we wanted to do weren't going to be possible, having to adapt, and having some revelations, particularly on a train ride when we had to think differently about how we were going to be approaching our product rollout. And then, you know, Ryan and I both got to live our dream of attending the National Association of Music Merchants trade show. We continue to be a participant in that trade show. Something that we had even talked about, I think, during our freshman year of school, always looking at that trade show and seeing what the new music gear was coming out, and then being able to go attend and then later on participate was an incredible experience, being a part of that industry, meeting some of the big names among other music manufacturing companies and brands, and then also a lot of the artists and musicians, just being among all of them as peers was a really elevating experience.
I have to say, I think a ride, like a train ride in China, just sounds like a beautiful musical. Like I want to see, but we have to bring a musical theater when I can. Okay, Ryan, how about you?
Yeah, I have a lot of the same favorite memories. You know, we basically, you know, Shane mentioned it, but we basically had a 3-hour bullet train ride to Pivot. It was like a do or die, crazy moment, and we had to having learned a lot while we were there. In order to survive, we needed to dive down and really figure out what we were going to do and where specifically where it was going to go. And then, like Shane said before, at the NAMM show, going to Nashville, Los Angeles, those places where you are now a peer to some of your idols and icons in the industry, getting to, talk with them and get advice on what we're doing and have them, know who we are. It's just really cool. And having the person who actually indirectly taught me guitar on the internet try out my product was absolutely
That must have been
surreal.
like a cool fan.
I wouldn't be a good guitar player or as far down the road in that if it wasn't for him. So having him try out our product at the NAMM show was crazy.
That's amazing. I hope you got a selfie.
Yeah.
We did
So
a
what,
pic.
as you should. So what would you say to student entrepreneurs? What is the key ingredient that you think to be a successful entrepreneur? Grit, persistence, creativity. What is that for you, Adam?
I think that we've been trying to answer this question in the business world for decades, right? So I certainly don't have the answer. I think it takes all those things. In science, we often like to smile at serendipity when it smiles at us. But I think it's about it's about forming the right relationships, in my perspective. That's been why we have been successful. Once again, when we began this venture, 3 years ago, we were not in a position that we were or that we are today. And I think that being able to, I think the grit is also a critical piece. Just keep on learning, keep on moving. Don't ever let failure be failure. Be it allow it to be an opportunity to learn, right? As I think Ryan was highlighting earlier, there's just a lot of learning. There's a lot of pivoting. There's a lot of redefining sometimes, and just being able to appreciate that what other people want is what we want to provide rather than what's in our brain space. I think that's been a critical aspect in just getting the things up and running, getting that first sale, getting that first dozen, building those partnerships. None of them could have occurred if we didn't have the capacity through our experience with Panasci and UB learning to step out of our brain space and look at the world around us. And I think that that can be very helpful for young startups coming up. Just listen to the market, let the market define what you're doing rather than on the couch or in the classroom trying to whiteboard out what's going to be the $1 billion idea.
Shane, go ahead.
It's a lot of the things you talked about, but for me, I think it's really connecting with everybody has one thing that I think that they're really the best person to do. Don't try to ever be someone you're not. I think it's important to really know what your passions are and really understand what allows you to push beyond the regular human level of performance and really achieve that next level, and you can really only do that if the thing that you're pursuing is the thing that you're really passionate about. So we were Ryan and I fully passionate about music technology and the particular technology that we're looking to build. And so it was really easy for us to demonstrate our commitment and put on a really powerful pitch during Panasci because we've truly believed. And so you really have to, when you're giving your pitch, you really have to believe and you have to make the audience believe. And you really got to connect with your highest potential, I think. And that's really what we're trying to also do with the company is we're trying to help other musicians achieve that in their musicianship. And that's really, I think, what the power of human potential is.
And Ryan, for you, a little different question. Are there any thought leaders, influencers, books you've read that have shaped how you view entrepreneurship and leadership? Any tactical advice there for our friends in the audience?
I was thinking about my
you can answer the other question first. You can.
So yeah, quickly, two things I wanted to touch on. I totally agree with everything Shane and Adam said for sure. Two additional things that I was thinking about were being extremely efficient with the resources that you have. I think if you're able to squeeze every single penny out of $1 and turn it into as if you had $5 as a result, that is extremely critical in the early stages when you're limited and cash strapped and you're bootstrapping and you're trying to get through everything. I think if you can take the Panasci money and maximize it to the nth degree, use all the services that the prize provides and take everything, as far as you could possibly go. UB has so many resources to offer and take advantage of everything. And then Secondly, have someone who can help you get through all the extreme highs and lows of being an entrepreneur. I think some days it feels like it's the best day of my life, and other days it's like everything is going wrong and it's awful. So being able to get through that, you know, Shane and I both, you know, some days like I'm feeling like super you know, gung-ho about something, and Shane's not, and vice versa. And just have someone who can help you get through all those things, because it's not steady, and it, you know, there's the highs are awesome and the lows could be, you know, pretty discouraging. So you know, buckle up and definitely have some sort of support to get through it, and always persevere through it, because it'll always you know, you'll definitely always have a positive result, whether it be,
it comes together, right? It like somehow works out the way it's meant to. Even when we're on the journey, we don't know that. We have 1 minute. So Adam, Shane, any other advice that you'd give to our student entrepreneurs in the audience?
If I might just, you know, I think I've learned just as much from the other teams and other people going through this process. To Ryan's point, you know, just knowing that you're not alone in that process, you know, the summer program with David and just everything that Hadar and Alex, you know, helped us with along the way, just those kinds of experiences have been invaluable.
You know, we tell people all the time about this concept, especially particularly for UB students, about being able to maximize the value that you get out of your time at the university. So if you're ever have an entrepreneurial idea, I would recommend just well, first of all, when you're a student, you don't have other obligations in life other than to be a student. So it's really a good time to develop an entrepreneurial pursuit at school. And then wherever you have the opportunity to, you can double up by taking an assignment in a class and then making your venture the focus of it. Ryan and I did that all the time in the MBA program. We would develop business plans or presentations about our own music products industry, and then even receive a grade, so you know whether or not you're on the right track. And we were able to use that to develop our business during school, while making double value out of the time that we were putting into our academics. So little life hack for you.
I love that. I love that. And I was told we have just a couple more minutes, so we're going to keep vamping, and I have one more question. But for those of you who are participating, Rhm put in the chat that there is a bit.ly link to vote for your People's Choice Award finalists, and they will get that $1,000. So please vote for your favorite. You can see there's also a QR code. So get out your phone, get voting, because that $1,000 will help a team and get to that next level. Adam, do you have any tactical resources that you or your team utilizes to create new ideas, to build that? Is there anyone you'd recommend that folks follow or read?
So for us, there was a book, and I may butcher the title, but something along the lines of Blue Ocean Marketing Strategy was very helpful for us. Whether it's redefining a product in a current market to bring added value props to your customer segments, or whether, you know, in our case, it's essentially coming into a brand new market space and a first to market approach, that was very helpful. But I think that the entire lean startup method was helpful for us to kind of reshape our understanding of how to bring a product to market. So when it just comes to some of the nitty gritties, those were great resources for us. But once again, I think the most beneficial resource is the people that we're around, and just being able to develop those partnerships, whether through the university system or Launchpad or many of the other mentor groups that we've been a part of since then. It takes a village.
And it's amazing when you're a student, the willingness of people to help you, the willingness of people to open their doors and say, oh yeah, sure, I'll give you my advice for free, right? And who knows what those relationships will develop into. Even those LinkedIn connections are unbelievably valid, and just introducing yourself, because that then becomes a warm lead or a warm investor that you could reapproach down the line. Shane, any other resources or B-School insight that you want to share with everybody?
Yeah, I think, well, one book was Disciplined Entrepreneurship by Bill Outlet. I think it was part of our curriculum as well at UB. It's a really simple book. It kind of takes a step-by-step approach to entrepreneurship. And I like that because at the end of the day, it's really not about very abstract or complicated ideas. A lot of these are very basic principles, being able to clearly communicate and articulate your idea as simply as possible. So even if it's a very complicated one, it's something you're going to need to be able to do. Everybody has maybe heard of maybe doing a 60-second pitch, for instance, but the content itself goes throughout the various stages of forming your venture. And I found that to be pretty exciting to go through during our earlier times.
Fantastic. Ryan, I know I'm going to circle back and ask you this question again.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback up what Adam said. I think I really try and always put myself out there and have those conversations with everybody possible. I think I've really immersed myself by choice and just like what I love to do in the guitar, music technology realm. And I always try and go out, pre-COVID, go out to all the networking events possible, talk to everybody in the community, and you'll really learn a lot from everyone's past experiences, all the, things that they've tried, whether they were successful or not with those decisions. Let's see. Yeah, just asking questions. The I-Corps program was great. That was a huge program for us, and it really helped us learn how to ask the right questions for people in our industry. And I still do that today all the time when I'm talking to musicians to try and get good, unbiased feedback, and it'll help guide our process when we're developing products.
And I know all of you, being entrepreneurs, your life is your work, and those blend together. So exactly. What do you do to like unplug? What do you do to recharge? How do you protect that mental life wellness space? Because we know entrepreneurs aren't always good at that. Adam, want to start?
Sure. Wow. I think it is a challenge for any entrepreneur, anyone involved in a startup. There are always those nights when you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning with that, there's either a good idea or did I get that done, or just thinking about the next day and the meetings involved. But I think that what's been really helpful for me is really leaning on the rest of the community, right? So how do I unwind, engage with other people that are in the same, atmosphere, in the same, but not talking about business per se, right? Just kind of trying to focus on something else, and certainly staying, active outside of the world of entrepreneurship, whether it's at the gym or being able to read a nice non or fiction book every once in a while to get your brain space out of marketing strategy has always been very helpful.
It's funny when you do unplug your brain and you let yourself explore and read those other books, what you can discover and you can just find. Shane, how about you? How do you have some fun?
Great. I think it's a great question because it can be really unintuitive sometimes. And trust me, I do sometimes struggle to turn it off, as they say. But, a lot of things. Well, actually, personally, I keep my phone notifications off always. I never want to be disrupted by my phone. And even I will only really ever be able to answer a phone call if I see that it's coming in. But it's a small, I guess, drawback in comparison, because really, when I like to achieve, and this is another book, by the way, Flow. I forget the author, but it's kind of a dense one, but when you're working, you try to achieve a state of flow, and that ding noise is just going to completely disrupt it every time. It takes a long time to be able to enter your state of flow. So it's just not viable to me to be able to be interrupted at a time that I can't really control. So that's one particular thing for me. And it even applies when you're, playing your instrument too, playing guitar, cannot have the phone in the vicinity when I'm doing that. Guitar is a great outlet, music in general, listening and playing. And also just for fun, or my idea of a vacation is to actually go way off the grid. I do some really remote camping trips, like in the Adirondacks or in Canada in the past when the border was open. But I've done a lot of wilderness experiences like camping, and have really, really gotten a lot out of that, a bit of a reset to clear all of that clutter in your mind. Also pay attention to the inner dialogue in your head. A lot of times you'd be surprised as to how much is going on in there, how much you're feeding in that you don't realize. There's just constantly thoughts reverberating off the walls inside your brain. So it's important to keep that in check and to not let yourself have too crowded a mind space. Kind of clear that is really something, and to actually put an effort into doing that is something that really helps.
And I'll shout out Lindsay. I think one of the judges, like that's how she lives. She's like, this is, if you are tired, if you are not your best, you can't make the best decisions. You can't be the best entrepreneur. So thank you for feeding that question. And Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, I do some of the, similar things. Playing guitar is always a big de-stressor for me. It sounds like that's also my job, but it's really separate because, it's just such a, therapeutic kind of thing, and you get to just play whatever you're thinking or you're into, what's on your mind. Definitely sports with friends, going to the gym, exercise, that always, clears my head, and, you feel good afterwards. And attending shows, I go to a lot of concerts, and having a lot of friends in the area, always, visiting and hanging out, pre-COVID again. But so yeah, I think definitely, keeping a good, relationships with your friends, exercise, and some sort of hobby that you really enjoy, that is, relaxing.
And unplugging. And Shane, do you batch your email as well, or just your phone? That's just something that curiously came to my mind just now.
Yeah, I know. I guess I do tend to batch my email. Like I'll rapid fire off my responses where I can. Like it'll be sort of a time where I'm just responding to emails. So yeah, I'd say I pretty much do. Like when I'm doing communications, I guess it tends to happen like in one particular block, and then a lot of times, like what I'm doing is, yeah, most of what I do isn't actually sending out emails. So I try to just put that as one time portion, and then the rest is doing all the very other multifaceted things that a founder is going to have to be working on.
So lesson today, find time to unplug, keep working. We do have a question in the chat asking if you guys could put your suggested literature in the chat for those who are there. I know we have Flow and a couple other things that we had shared, but thank you for your time, and congrats on being previous Panasci winners. Can't wait to see what you guys do next.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good to see you too.
Good to see you guys. Make sure you guys get your votes in for the People's Choice Award. I will keep vamping until Hadar comes back on the screen.
That was just wonderful, Celine.
Thank you so much, Dave.
And thank you, Shane. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Adam. That reminds me of my own founder experience. And basically what you shared, I think for all of the finalists who are here today, is a flashlight into your future. You are already on this journey just by virtue of being on this stage today. So with that, as I understand it, our judges are coming back from the breakout room. And Hadar, do you happen to be here?
I am back. Thank you so much, Dave. And our judges really wanted to listen to the panel, so we're going to have to share the recording with them. So thanks so much for your patience. You guys did not make it easy for our judges, and we're excited to share with you some of our news. So first, it's been an absolute pleasure watching all of our teams develop over the last year. And of course, we know it's been a trying year. We're extremely proud of all of you. Congratulations on all that you have accomplished. We look forward to supporting you as you continue to launch and soar in the Western New York entrepreneurial community. Many thanks to our judges for contributing their time and expertise today and for the last few weeks as they've been reviewing all of your materials. And a huge thanks to all of our viewers and the Western New York community for your continued engagement and supporting our students' innovation and creativity as they continue on their journey as entrepreneurs. I'm going to share my screen and do the final awards. Wonderful. So now the moment you've all been waiting for, please feel free to make use of virtual applause, and you're welcome to unmute to cheer for our winners. So teams, feel free to come off of mute. We'd love to hear the energy and the excitement in your teams. Our People's Choice Award winner with an award of $1,000 is Bosk, congratulations.
Yay!
Congratulations. Fantastic.
Well done. Brilliant work.
Thank you.
Terrific. And now our second place prize winner with an award of $10,000 in seed funding is Blue Slayers.
Whoa! Thank you so much. This has means so much to us. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Our first place prize winner with an award of $25,000 in seed funding and in-kind services of legal, accounting, office space, business development, and HR assistance valued at $27,000 is Apollo Technologies.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'd just like to thank all our coaches, Dave, Matt, Richard, Blackstone, Launchpad, Hadar, Alex. You guys were awesome. Thanks so much to the Buffalo startup community, especially over the past year and a half, really supporting us. No one circles the wagons better. So thank you.
Fantastic. Congratulations to our winners and all of our teams here today. Everyone did an amazing job. And we're just excited for what is to come for all of you. We'd invite Team Apollo and Team Layer Slayers, please look out for a call from our communications office so they will finalize the press release to go out this evening. And if you would also please stay on the call, we'd love to take some virtual pictures with you. Thanks all and have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you back here next year, hopefully in person.
Yes.